It is amazing how many drivers, even at the Formula One level, think that the brakes are for slowing the car down. This is an awesome quote by race legend Mario Andretti. Guys, in this video you will see the greatest motorsports of our time. Hope you enjoy the video and I'll see you in the next one.
Formula One. Formula One is the highest class of single-seat auto racing sanctioned by the Fédération Internationale Automobile (FIA) and owned by the Formula One Group. The FIA Formula One World Championship has been one of the premier forms of racing around the world since its inaugural season in 1950. Formula One season consists of a series of races, known as Grand Prix, which take place worldwide on purpose-built circuits and on public roads. The pinnacle of motorsports, a lot of technology certainly, but the driver isn't less valuable and having interest enough in it. There are a number of different stories happening at the same time. A possible championship fight, a middle team fight for the third place in the constructors, the rise or fall of a team through the years, the personal story of a driver in his path to Formula One, and it goes on and on. Follow it enough and you'll know those stories and the races will become even more interesting. Those who say F1 has no competition and no passing clearly doesn't watch F1. Overtakes are always better in F1 than in NASCAR. Just by side for a long ass time isn't good racing, it's manufactured racing. On the other hand, watching an F1 driver slowly close in on his rivals and setting up a move slowly is real racing. 2. NASCAR. Formula One has no competition, no passing, and no type of fall off. NASCAR has tons of these and much more. It is far safer than the four above it. It isn't given the chance it deserves and it is unfairly stereotyped. Although, I cannot deny. Most of them are true. And yes, at times during long green flag runs or back-to-back cautions, it can get a bit boring. But what sport doesn't have those issues? However, NASCAR is never boring when you're at a live event. V8 supercars look more like show cars. I like the big numbers like 33. I reckon NASCAR is the better than V8 supercars. Accuse the crappy Tamos can keep up like Michael Waltrip. Usually Jimmy Johnson wrecks S equals because he is the 7-time NASCAR champion and still can wreck. Not like V8 supercars. Jamie Winkup wins all the time, never wrecks, only one time at the Gold Coast 600 last weekend, but still. 3. MotoGP. I appreciate all forms of racing, but every race in MotoGP is a race from start to finish. If riders are with 1.5 seconds of each other in the last lap, the final corner or finish straight will determine the winner. The physics are insane. Many times I can't comprehend how the rider can corner in the wet at incredible speed while passing another rider and not crash. I've been riding for 30 plus years, so a little biased. Formula One is like chopping down a tree while MotoGP is fast, beautiful and heartbreaking at times. Yes, I watch F1 every race. F1 is just an outdated motorsports and its fans living in the past. I myself remained a F1 fan since 1998 up to 2009, but then I realized it has gone stagnant, no heroes, no villains, no overtakes, no excitement whatsoever. I started following MotoGP in 2002 and realized how many empty spaces it filled up that are left unattended by F1. Long live MotoGP.
Guys, awesome you made it this far into the video. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. It will help me a great deal. Let me also know in the comments what other top 10 videos you would like to see, and I'll see you in the next one.
4. IndyCar. I have difficulty understanding why IndyCar is placed number 7. As a Formula One fan, I cannot appreciate IndyCar more. With races like the Indy 500 not only being physically challenging, but also being mentally strenuous as the drivers race at very high speeds with very little margin for error. Yes, IndyCar is slower than F1, but in a straight line an IndyCar is significantly faster even though it has 250 horsepower less than F1. They also weigh a lot more because of the extra protection for drivers so that crashes at very high speeds can be safe, as Indy cars tend to crash at much higher speeds. If you still think that Indy car is too slow because of the COTA timings, consider this: when was the last time F1 raced on an oval circuit, and what happened? Even if F1 tires did not blow up due to the extreme tire loading on an oval circuit, they would still be a lot slower than IndyCar, simply because F1 cars and Indy cars are designed to excel at different types of racing and therefore there is no logical reason to compare their lap times around COTA. 5. WRC. The sport is quite amazing because the cars are all standard road cars you can buy today for very little, but the tuning and skills that go into each stage is truly amazing, and the sport has such a rich history of rivalries like Lancia vs Audi, Subaru vs Mitsubishi and the entirety of Group B. This is truly the king of motorsports, driving at speeds of over 130 miles per hour on multiple terrains: dirt, gravel, snow, asphalt, with sharp turns where drivers are sliding sideways at 100 miles per hour plus and crazy jumps going at top speed. The drivers, co-drivers, and the cars need to endure more than probably any other motorsport in the world. 6. V8 supercars. V8 supercars is easily the most exciting motorsport in the world. You have crazy in-car temperatures, insane tire degradation and the driving skill needed to muscle one of these cars around the circuit is near that of a Formula 1 car, needs more coverage all around the world. Great racing, tough cars with none of the driving aids you see in GT, F1, LMP etc. Pure muscle car racing and always have great supports to boot. V8 has the broadest season stretching from late January to November, making it my favorite, one of the best in the world by far. Pure aggressiveness, close competition, and if you haven't seen a lap around Bathurst, what are you doing with your life? 7. Touring car. For me, the BTCC is much more interesting than F1. BTCC provides more action, it really takes the phrase, rubbin' is racing, to the max. I mean, think about it, when last did you see a crash like the one for Rob Austin at Brands Hatch in F1? Every lap is exciting because there is someone always trying to get as high as they can, even if they cause a bump or two. F1, the slightest bit of contact you have to pull in the pits and will cost you $1 million to fix. This has to be higher. I mean, see these different teams, drivers, all in these spread out tracks in the UK. You see different winners every year, every week, every race. Such an action-packed sport. So much more competitive than F1, just awesome. So much action. 8. Sprint car racing. Sprint car racing is very similar to NASCAR, but it is on a smaller oval that is made of dirt, not bitumen. Racers whose dream is to race in NASCAR usually start here racing sprint cars, which are a bit easier, then work their way up. Real racing, no politics, just man and women and machine. It's the best man and beast. 9. Go-karting. Close action-packed racing, the roots of all the big names in motorsport. More to it than your standard arrive and hire karts. Karts racing at 80 plus mph with drivers being within hundredths of a second of each other. 10. Formula drift. I love it, the smell of burning rubber and seeing them go sideways around the corners. My favorite is the 25 RTR Mustang. Ridiculous amount of skill involved which goes unrecognized. Brilliant to watch and participate in, drifting is fun to do and it is great fun to do. Cool cars racing sideways at 80 miles per hour.